Hi, I'm Chris, welcome back to FRAG-MENTAL, thanks for joining me, and boy have I got a video for you today. I was just browsing my humongous fragrance collection and I noticed there were 10 fragrances that I can't sell because they're just too good. I know I've done videos in the past about keep 10 fragrances for life, fragrances that I would never want to not have in my collection, but there are other fragrances. There are other fragrances that I love that much, they're just that good, I'd never want to sell them. So this video features some fragrances that are amazing, but I perhaps talk about them a little bit less on this channel. They're not just the usual suspect, so let's dive in. Starting off with one that is just perfect for this time of year. I always look forward to the autumn so I can bust out Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé. Take some of the powdery iris from the Givenchy line, but combine it with a lovely whiskey accord. Two things I have a bit of a soft spot for: powdery iris, like we get in the Dior Homme line. I just think it's so wearable. I think it is loved by people who smell it on you. It jumps off the skin. I think it helps a fragrance to really project. I also love whiskey. I love drinking whiskey. I love wearing whiskey. I don't like to drink whiskey too often, but I do like to wear it more often. Reserve Privé is a good mix of being fun and lively, but it's also refined and sophisticated. Got a little bit of gravitas to it, a bit more maturity, so maybe 25 plus would wear this fragrance. If you're a young gun going out clubbing, maybe not, but if you're someone like me and you like a bit of whiskey and you like a bit of iris, oh yeah. I don't own the original Spice Bomb. I am toying with the idea. I've been toying with the idea for about a decade, to be honest, because I really enjoy it. Whenever I go in a store, I always go and smell it because I think, shall I buy it? Is this the moment I actually buy Spice Bomb? But then I never do because I have this one. This is Infrared EDT. No surprise that this one is packed full of spices, but this has sort of a red spiciness. There's red pepper, pink pepper, so it's got lots of lift and a nice little bit of red fruitiness. Of course, the cinnamon and tobacco, which is part of the backbone of the Spice Bomb DNA. Find this one to be just a little richer, a little deeper, a little fuller, a bit more full-bodied than the original Spice Bomb, so you get everything that is great about the spiciness of the original. This one's a little thicker, a little richer. It projects just as well. Definitely has a strong olfactory link to the original Spice Bomb, which is maybe why I'll never buy that and why I'll never sell this. This fragrance shocked me. This is part of a line that I would never thought I would say. This smells more like a niche fragrance. Paco Rabanne 1 Million Golden Oud. This is a massively robust fragrance with notes like amber, oud and leather. Who'd have thought Paco Rabanne would make a fragrance that smells this high end, this luxury, and put it in the 1 million line? Not me, but they did. There is such heft to this fragrance, there's such quality. It doesn't smell like a designer fragrance. If Paco Rabanne were to do a 1 million Privé line, then this is the sort of thing it would smell like. Huge performance, lots of projection. Longevity is off the chain. This is a big fragrance. And it is quite oudy. I'm not sure if it's a real oud, probably not, but there is definitely a little bit of funk in this one. It is still very wearable though. I get something like a sweet tobacco in here. So all in all, this is a fantastically constructed fragrance. Probably my favorite of all the 1 millions at the moment, and I don't want to sell it. Going into slightly fresher territory now, and this is a fragrance that I owned before I really got into fragrances. Someone just said, yeah, this is a popular one, buy it. That was TWEED. Bright oranges, lots of woody depth coming from vetiver. This is a bit of a modern masculine classic. We all love a smell that takes us back, that reminds us of a point in our lives. Well, this one takes me back to me enjoying fragrance before I got into fragrance. I would just buy one bottle at a time. I would use that bottle and then I would buy a new bottle of something. This was one where I just, for a few months of my life, literally wore TWEED, so it became my signature scent for a little bit. It's fresh, it's clean, it's masculine, it's the kind of fragrance you could just wear all the time, anytime, any occasion, any time of year, and it just works. Because of those reasons, and because I've got good memories of this being my signature scent for a while, I don't want to sell it. Got another fresher fragrance. This one's from Prada, and I bought this before I bought Prada L'Homme. I think I bought Prada L'Homme because I enjoyed this one so much. This is Prada L'Homme Low. You get the powdery iris that you get in Prada L'Homme, similar to the Dior Homme type of iris, but what we have also in this is some brightness, some lift, because we've got ginger and neroli. Prada L'Homme's a great fragrance, so versatile. You can wear it any time of year for any occasion, but if you do want a version of Prada L'Homme with the iris, but something that is a little bit brighter, a little bit zingier, a little bit more summer specific. Prada L'Homme Low is a stunner. Too good to sell. Going back to the darker fragrances now, this is another stunner for the autumn. It's Boss the Scent Private Accord. Ginger, maninka fruit, coffee, pepper, pineapple, cacao, and vanilla. The fruitiness of the scent DNA works so well with the darker, more ambery notes, the sweeter notes, the vanilla, the cacao, the coffee. This is a very rich, indulgent fragrance. It's got all the notes that really make it just sing perfectly in the autumn. Boss doing so well at the moment, considering how many fragrances they put out. Their hit rate is fantastic. Possibly the best hit rate of any design fragrance brand at the moment. Private Accord, just as good as anything else Boss has put out. Too good to sell. A fragrance that was my signature scent for the longest time of any fragrance I've ever owned was Jean-Paul Gaultier's La Malle. La Malle is getting on a bit now. As much as I do still love it, I enjoy this slightly more modernized version, La Malle Le Parfum. Take the La Malle DNA, throw some iris at it, add some creamy vanilla, you got a winner. What a package. As good as the original La Malle, you've got some of that La Malle DNA, some of that recognizable mint and lavender, but there's a twist. We've got the iris, which is such a popular note in men's fragrances these days, and the creamy vanilla, so it's a cozier, more warming scent than the original La Malle. So a cozier, more sensual version of the original. Still good fun. This one's probably more cocktail lounge than nightclub, but that kind of suits me. Not selling. Two Tom Ford fragrances now, and this one is the first tobacco fragrance I ever smelled in my short life. Tobacco vanille. What a combination, what a use of tobacco and vanilla with the spices. This one is loud, it's proud, it's indulgent, it's sexy. Who knew that I'd ever want to spray tobacco on my skin, let alone it becoming my favorite note in fragrances? That's how much I fell for this one. It was part of those original private blend releases that just changed the game. Things like Tuscan Leather, Oud Wood, Tobacco Oud. This one, they just did something that was so unique, so innovative, so bold. It's such an addictive type of smell. Whenever I wear this, and I did wear this recently just a few days ago, I absolutely loved it, and it hangs around, it lasts. It doesn't go anywhere fast, and that's great because whenever I'm wearing it, I'm thinking, I am loving this smell. Such a great creation from Tom Ford. If you've never tried Tobacco Vanille, where have you been? Get out there and smell it, but you won't be smelling mine because I'm not selling it. Back to Tom Ford now. I rarely mention this on my channel because it's sort of got lost in the shuffle of all the Tom Ford fragrances I've bought since I bought this one, but this was the first ever Tom Ford fragrance I bought. Noir. What isn't going on with this fragrance? There's pink pepper, caraway, bergamot, iris, rose, black pepper, nutmeg, patchouli, amber, vanilla, civet, leather, benzoin, vetiver, resins. This was another of those fragrances that I bought before I got into fragrances. In fact, this was just when I was on the edge of really getting a little bit more interested in collecting fragrances. So I just had this for a few months. I was wearing only this fragrance. So it was a signature for a little while for me. I've only got a couple of drops of this left. I wore it that much, and I probably need to pick up a new bottle at some point. This might be controversial, but I'm going to say I prefer this to Noir Extreme and Noir Extreme Parfum. I think it's a more impactful fragrance despite them being the extreme version of this. This has some real power, some real density, some massive projection. This one isn't talked about quite as much as the Noir Extremes, but don't overlook it. If you've never smelled it, go into a store and smell it right away. Definitely not selling this. Well, partly because no one would want to buy a fragrance with 1 ml of juice left in the bottle, but it's good. Finishing off with the classiest fragrance on the list. From Dior, it's Eau Sauvage Parfum. Bit of old school classic Eau Sauvage, but also some modern stuff fused into this parfum version. It doesn't get more gentlemanly and sophisticated than Eau Sauvage Parfum. This is just the perfect scent. If you want to smell like a bit of a boss, if you want to dress up formally, if you're going to a formal event, this fragrance is definitely going to be a fantastic pairing for that sort of thing. I absolutely love how refined this one smells and how well put together I smell when I wear it. I smell like someone who's got their together. Maybe not always, but when I'm wearing this, I feel like I do. Definitely wouldn't sell this because obviously it is just too good, but this is the older version. This one has the myrrh in there rather than the LME, so I think it is just a little bit better, a bit more impactful. This one is discontinued. I ain't selling it. There we go, 10 fragrances I love that much I would never sell. What are your fragrances that, for whatever reason, you would always want in your collection? You think they are just too good to ever sell? Let me know, I would love to hear from you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you found it useful. If you did, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you do all that, you'll see me in the next one. Thanks for watching, bye.